Blessed be my witches, my spiritualists, and welcome to another episode of Witch Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today we are going to be making my Peaceful Mind Mental Clarity Balm. The reason why I feel the need to make this right now is because with everybody being in quarantine, people are starting to go a little crazy. Not to mention the fact that the world is going a little crazy right now, and people are focusing on things that, really do matter, and they do need to be discussed, and they do need to be challenged, and they do need to be, brought to the table. However, there also needs to be a little bit of common sense, and a little bit of understanding that needs to be done. And this mental clarity, peaceful mind balm, I have used for a very long time, and I also have highly recommended this to anybody who does a lot of meditation to be able to help ground and center themselves, to be able to clear their mind of negative thoughts, victim thoughts, anything, that monkey mind that kind of comes in and overtakes you. Now, again, I want to make this very clear. With everything that is going on in this world right now, there's a lot of atrocities going on and things that really shouldn't be happening. And, people are being treated unjustly and unfairly and all of these other variables. And it plays with our minds. It really, really does. Trying to wrap your head around concepts for so many people is such a very, very hard thing for them to do. A lot of the times people can't draw the connections, and they can't, they can't seem to understand that if you hold something in one way, even though you find it unjust in another way, but you hold it in this way, you're still keeping that vibration alive. If you can say something or feel like it's just to hurt another person in this way, you can't be upset when it happens in a context that you don't like. Because you have held that bigotry. If you hold bigotry in one way, if you hold limitations in one way, you cannot be, shocked or appalled that it's still alive in another form, because you're keeping that vibration alive. And this is the reason why I really feel the need to make this, because it really does help people see clearly. So what are you going to need for this? Well, you are going to need, first and foremost, I got a Bain-marie going on here. And in this Bain-marie, I have some coconut oil. Okay? Coconut oil or coconuts have always been associated with Obatala or Obatala. And that is the brain, the mind, the head. Anything to do with being able to open those pathways, those avenues, to be able to allow the highest and deepest self to be able to come into play, to be able to see past what is illusion, and to be able to really grow in your knowledge. And not the knowledge of, right or wrong, or not the knowledge of good or bad, or not the knowledge of any of these things. More of the knowledge of what is and what could be. It allows for you to be able to grow in wisdom. See, knowledge is one thing, and it's a powerful thing, but wisdom is something completely different. When we talked about, the difference between being smart and being genius, this is what this is. It allows for us to clear the mind of everything that we have been preconditioned to believe and understand, and to be able to gain that wisdom and clarity. You are also going to need something with which to put this in your bottle. I have a tendency to use this syringe here. I find it a lot easier to suck it up. However, you can just pour it directly into your master bottle. So my master bottle is just one of these bottles with a top on it, because it does harden into a thicker oil, and you can actually use it to anoint certain things. The oils that we are going to be using today, we are going to be using rosemary. Now, I like to use rosemary. Now, this is rosemary, actually the rosemary leaves, okay, or little stem twiggy things. This is what this is, okay? This helps with the highest understanding of the self, the third eye, the opening up to new possibilities, to give you a vantage point, a heightened perspective. It's almost like being like standing on top of the largest building in a city and being able to survey everything. Rosemary has that tendency. Now, the other reason why I like rosemary is because rosemary is good when it comes to the heart and bringing in that aspect of being able to guide with your heart, for you to be able to see and work from a place of universal love. The next one we're going to be using is lavender. Lavender is wonderful when it comes to, well, luck and all of those. When we're talking about this, we're talking about lavender flowers here. Lavender flowers are great for opening up the third eye, for clearing all of that debris and blocks and limits and isolations and conditions and all of those things that hinder us from being able to open our eyes to what's going on. Not holding a prejudice or bigotry or any of these things, to try and clear that and be able to see what really matters. Lavender is also good for getting and helping and assisting people to realize that we are not our skin, we are not our hair, we are not people's expectations of us. We are something more. We are a being in a flesh suit, having an experience in this reality. So lavender helps to clear the senses, clear the channels of the mind to be able to see that for what it truly is. Now, wintergreen is wonderful when it comes to allowing you to be able to see things from many different variables and many different perspectives. Wintergreen also has a protective nature. It allows them to see a bigger picture. It gives them almost an intuition, like the gift of foresight. This mixture in general is very, very, very good when it comes to asking yourself the really important questions. Is the way that I'm thinking, is the illusion that I hold limiting to myself and to others? You know, I've heard many times people say, oh, I'm not into people of color. It's not that I'm prejudiced, it's just a preference. And I get that. I get what people are trying to say, but it is a limitation. It is a block, because you know what? People are people. They're people. Whatever the divine or whatever body they chose to inhabit doesn't define who they are, my witches. They're people. They experience life like we do. Whether you be Asian, Black, German, Dutch, East Indian, Native American, we're people. And I believe that wintergreen has the power of being able to allow you to see past the physical into what matters. The next thing we're going to be using is marjoram. Now, you know I love me some of my marjoram when it comes to mental health and problems with the mind and torment and torture. The reality is we are blocked. We are very blocked in how we see this world. We overlook a lot of things and we judge without even realizing it. That, my witches, is more mental illness than depression could ever be. Depression allows you to search for yourself, figure out who you are. But when you are blocked, when you buy into illusions that limit, that can allow you to waterboard your fellow man, can allow you to disrespect somebody who does not deserve it. Nobody deserves it. When it allows for you to pass judgment and limit another person, that is mental illness. And marjoram will help to dissolve those conditions and illusions. I add orange to this mixture because orange is wonderful when it comes to bringing things into the light. It's also great with boosting the feelings and the emotions and whatnot, getting some of that oxytocin going, boost, allowing for some of that universal love to come in, to bring in illumination, oneness. It's great for providing a lift, a spiritual, emotional lift. And that is the reason why we are going to be adding the orange in here. The next thing we're going to use is a piece of coconut. Now this is coconut flesh. And we just use a little piece of this. I like to have the coconut flesh in the master bottle. And that is just to reinforce the physicality of these workings. Right? Now, I also want you to know that you don't have to use coconut oil. Use a regular coconut oil. This is organic coconut oil. You don't have to necessarily use this. You can get fractionated coconut oil if you like, but that's going to be a liquid. I like this to be a balm because I use this more for anointing. This is personal. This is mine. And I use this for that. Okay? And last but not least, you are going to need Dulse. Dulse is wonderful. It smells like the ocean because it is. It's a seaweed. Very strong, pungent smell. And I like to just use a little bit of Dulse in there because Dulse also helps with the mind and clarity. It also helps with allowing the inner self, the deepest self, to be able to be in the driver's seat. One of the things that we do when we're born, we love everybody. That's conditioned out of us. Dulse has a tendency to bring us back to that, where we see the world in a different way, where we're learning again how to retain that innocence and that beauty. And that's the reason why I like to add Dulse to the mixture. All right, so what do we do here? So now I'm just going to take my master bottle here and I'm going to crack off just a little piece of my coconut here. It doesn't have to be a lot, darlings. And just put that right in the bottle. That's it. I just like it to be in the bottom. And it's also a little good sign, it's a little sign too, because when you start getting down there to the bottom and stuff like that, you're like, ooh, time to make more and stuff like this. Like you can't see it or something like that, but you know me, honey. I like to put things, like floaty things in the bottles. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the smallest amount of Dulse. And look at it, it's a beautiful, like I said, it's really pungent. It's really pungent. Like it smells like fish. It does. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does. But you're only gonna put a little bit, a littlest amount in here, and all the other oils are going to assist with taking that scent away, but you want that vibration of Dulse in there. So there's gonna be equal parts of all of this. So I am going to put in 5 drops of each one of these. Now, because you're going to be placing this on your skin, make sure you're not allergic to any of these, y'all, right? And don't put a lot in there because you might burn yourself, okay? You don't want it to be that pungent, okay? So this is about 1 ounce of coconut oil that I'm doing this in, okay? I love this because what's going on here, my witches, my spiritualist, is I am bringing in that cleansing. You can feel and smell the cleansing and purifying qualities of this. Now I also want to let you know that this water that I am doing this in is all distilled water. Okay, I'm doing this in distilled water because distilled water does bring in a complete different vibration. You could also use holy water or you could use ocean water as well. Fantastic. Okay, so now that we have done this, we are going to do our prayer over this. And the prayer that we're going to be doing today is going to be for mental clarity, for allowing the highest self to be able to be very present with inside of our day-to-day life. To allow us to be almost in a meditative state, to have that meditative clarity at all times in our day. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so now we're going to take our bottle here and we are just going to pull this in to here, and we're going to move this now into our master bottle. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to close this off here, and we are going to let this reach room temperature. Now it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see the little piece of dulse in there and the coconut. It's fantastic. I love this. Now what I do with this is anytime I'm doing meditation, even if I'm doing spell working and I'm having a difficult time, there's a lot of things going on in my mind. I'm in one of those moods and I really don't know if I should be really doing the magics at that point because a lot of people do that. I will use this to bring the clarity that is needed in my life to be able to do what needs to be done and see things from different perspectives. If I'm having a difficult time trying to wrap my head around something, this is what I do. And I will anoint my forehead and my temples with it. All right, my witches, my spiritualists, that is our episode for today. If you have not pressed subscribe, you need to press subscribe, join the Witch Please family, and do not miss out on a thing. You can follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, as well as Facebook. You can always send me a personal email at witchpleaseofficial@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment below. Don't forget to press that bell icon so you're notified when a new video comes out, because you don't want to miss a thing. Now remember, my witches and my spiritualists, we still have a few more seats left for our declaration of a witchcraft class. So if you want to get in on that, send us an email at witchpleaseofficial and we will reserve your seat. Also, we have our Patreon account. If you would like to be able to see me do more content, see some of the prayers that I do for a lot of these, please feel free to join that. It costs less than a Starbucks coffee a day and allows you access to my content for a month. All right, my witches, I said it before and I will say it again. It is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic. And you are always in my heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch Please. I love you, boo-boos. Bye-bye.